Mike?
Here.
Joe?
Here.
Chris here. We able to conduct business, got a quorum. We've got some minutes to approve.
Move we approve. I'll second.
Made and seconded, we approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. There you go. Okay. We will take care of Dwight Holt's first. You say we do have red line coming in on the phone?
Right,
Okay.
after Dwight's.
All right. Which one do you guys want to go first?
Yeah, the taxpayer usually does.
Okay. Now, this is real estate,
This is real estate, yes.
Okay.
Yes, in Winoka.
all the proper schedules have been adhered to.
Yes, and we had our informal meeting, or our informal protest meeting, and so now he's filed a formal, so it is on the medical clinic, this property in Winoka.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Holt, go ahead.
Well, the reason I'm here is I received this tax year 2026 statement this year, and I was looking it over, and I noticed that I got, at the same time, I got the one on my building next door, and I noticed there was a huge difference in the valuation of them compared to the square footage of the buildings. And the medical clinic building that my wife used to have her clinic in has been basically abandoned because it can't be used for a medical clinic anymore. There's no doctors in town. It's just basically being used as a storage building. There's nobody in there. And I feel that the valuation on this is it's being taxed as a medical facility, which it's basically not anymore. And there's really no chance of getting a new doctor to come into Winoka. I mean, even the Winoka Family Clinic that Integris had is closed down. So I've tried, but it's not going to happen. To me, I'm being taxed, at a higher price than what I should be for a vacant building that's sitting there empty. And one of the things that I noticed, I brought this, my building next door to it that I have for my office, it used to be the medical clinic in Winoka when I was a kid. And here's a copy of the front abstracts, and they had even written on it, clinic. And so what I'm contending is, my building used to be a clinic, and it's evaluated on this at, well, the taxes basically are $354 on it. And it's 2,400 square feet. The taxes on the building next to it, which was my wife's clinic, are $3,445. And it's only about 1,000 square feet larger than the building that I own.
3,000, wow, now.
This building has
What's the tax on that?
$3,445.
Okay.
And the taxes on my office are $354. And they're sitting right next to each other. They both were clinics at one time. Neither one of them are a clinic now. So that's what I'm contending is, I'd like to keep the building with the idea that someday maybe my daughter might come back and from Oklahoma City, she's an attorney, and maybe open an attorney practice. But at $3,445 a year, going up 12% a year, it's gonna be at least 10, 20, maybe 30 years before that would ever happen. It's gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be forced to sell the building to somebody at a reduced amount because I'm not gonna be able to afford to even pay the taxes on it. And to me, it makes more sense to tax it as an empty building. In the meantime, because it's gonna get to the point where no one can afford to own it. And so that's the reason I'm here. If you figure on a square footage basis, the building that my office is, that used to be the medical clinic, it's figured at $14.21 a square foot. And my building is, you know, 20 or 30 times that amount. And to me, it's a situation where either I do this and come to you guys and explain what's going on here, or someday the building is not going to be able to be used at all for anything. And it's getting to the point where not only me, but other people are getting in the same position. They're going to be forced to tear a building down because it would be cheaper to tear it down than it would pay the taxes on it the way they're going up and at that level. And so that's the reason I'm here.
So did Alba have didn't they rent that for a little while or something?
Yes, they did, and they said they had it leased for 6 months with the option to renew it for another 6 months. Of course, my wife passed away in September of 2020, so it's been basically that many years since it was used. And she had cancer, so she couldn't do anything for 8 months prior to that, so it sat there for 8 months at that point. It was open for about a year that nobody was in it at all, and then I leased it to Share, and they came down for the 6 months, and I think they stayed with it another 3 months, and they allowed that they were losing $9,000 a month by renting the building from them, and so they gave it up. And so it's basically been sitting abandoned since then.
The status of Winoka Medical Facilities, I understand the other clinic is closed as well.
Yes, that was what I was saying. Integris, they closed their, they were renting the Winoka Family Clinic from the city, and they closed it about a year ago. So there's no medical provider in Winoka at all right now. And I've tried, to get one. I've talked to, different places and even some doctors, but no one wants to do what my wife did. She did everything. She was the doctor, she was the nurse, she did the billing, she did all the medical records, everything. And no doctor or provider, none of them want to do all of that. They want to just come in and see the patients and that's it. And so there's no way I'm going to be able to open it up, as like I was telling them, I would have to hire somebody to run the front, the doctor to do it, or a medical provider, a nurse for that doctor. Then I would have to hire somebody to do the records, the medical records, and you're going to have so many people that, my wife could make it work because that wasn't our sole source of income. And she did it because she enjoyed taking care of patients, and that was the biggest reason. So it wasn't so much that she was making money off of it, because she wasn't. It was just that she enjoyed doing it. It was our hometown, and
So why is it evaluated so much differently?
You ready for us?
Yeah, we've heard his side.
Okay. For the most part, I'm gonna let Cindy take care of this because, she's done a lot of the work on it and she needs the practice. And to start off with, it was, the fair cash value when we started was at $525,881. That's fair cash, that wasn't capped, what was being taxed on. And then we did, after the informal, we did lower it to $263,827.
$253,827. That's fair cash minus value.
And capped,
And when did you arrive at that decision?
after we had our informal protest.
Okay.
Cindy's gonna tell you about that.
What was the basis of that
She's
253?
fixing to tell you.
Okay.
Okay, so in regards to the building next door, his office that he was talking about, it has not been remodeled. Years ago when he bought it, it went on its sale price. It is valued in the computer the same way as the medical clinic. It is entered as a medical clinic. It is only getting 5%. So it's gonna take it forever to get to what the computer wants it to be, because I believe they bought it for $17,000
that's great.
back when he bought it. So when you take 17,000 times 5% times 5% times 5%, it's gonna take it forever to get to where the computer wants it to be. Yes.
So what's the basis of the computer evaluation?
We put the information in our computer, the square footage, the size, the attributes of the building, what the building is designed to be used for, and the depreciation based off of the year built. And it gives us, we go by the cost tables given to us by the state to get the value.
And that was a medical clinic, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it is entered as a medical clinic also.
Okay.
So the assessor's job is to discover, list, and appraise property fairly and equitably across the board. According to state statute, all taxable real property shall be assessed at its fair cash value, estimated at the price it would bring at a fair and voluntary sale for the highest and best use for which the property was actually used during the preceding calendar year, or the highest and best use for which the property was last classified for, if not actually used, during the preceding year. The medical clinic was originally 2 buildings that was extensively remodeled and combined in 2012 to become the medical clinic. Some of the outside walls are still original. However, they had to go in and do major remodeling. They basically had to build walls inside of those walls to support the new roof. All electrical, all plumbing had to be redone and brought up to code. There's the reception area, exam rooms with sinks, lab office, the x-ray room that had to have lead-lined walls. Everything had to be done up to code. The system is taking into account the original year built. It is a 1914 building with a remodel year of 2012. It is not being valued as a new building. Looking at medical clinics for sale in Oklahoma, I found like 5 of them that were close to square footage, some closer than others. One is in Enid. They're asking $1.1 million. It's 55 square foot. So it's valued at $309 a square foot. All of the others that I found were higher than that. Like she said, our original fair cash value was $525,881. The capped value, the amount that he was being taxed on, was $331,457. At the fair cash value, the total price per square foot for the property was $160.82. At the capped value of the $331,457, the total value per square foot for the property was $101.36. After speaking to Mr. Hull at the informal protest, we did adjust the value. We took into account the location, it being in Winoka, and that it is no longer open and not currently rented. We adjusted that value to $263,827, which brings the price per square foot down for the property to $80.68 a square foot. Two of our canvas specialists have looked over this information with us and how it's entered in the system, and they agree that it is entered correctly. In their opinion, though, it is undervalued. They would have given an adjustment for the location, but not for it not being used, because they said it was built to be a medical clinic, and just because it's not being used doesn't make it not a medical clinic. So that's,
Now, can I say something after she did?
Let me question her just a little bit, if you would. The fact that it's set there and there is no medical facilities available in Winoka, and then possibility there's not ever gonna be. It's either Alva, Fairview, Woodward, or Enid. The thing's an obsolete building. It's,
That's the reason we took the
it's,
value down.
it's like, well, when you have a change of use, you have a change of tax. And there is no use now. That's the way
we cannot, the statute says we have to do it at the highest and best use for which the property was last classified for use, if not actually used during the preceding year. So just because it's not currently in use doesn't change what it is. The x-ray, I mean, everything, all the attributes that make it a medical clinic are still there. It's just not being used. And we've been told by our CAMA people that that's how it has to stay until it sells. Everything in there's taken out that would make it a medical clinic.
So what you're telling me,
And the statute is referenced in that information that I gave you.
what you're telling me here is that once a medical clinic, it's always a medical clinic till you change it.
Unless they come in and change what
Okay,
it's
which
being
means,
used for. It's,
I've been in there, we used
meaning if
to.
it changes hands
Yeah,
and they change, or they take the attributes in there that make it a medical clinic out.
okay, well, if it's never gonna be used in medical clinic, it won't be because the other facility that's owned by Winoka is much more adaptable. So if they went in and gutted it, I mean, this is not set up to do anything but a medical clinic.
Which is,
If you change the
we have
floor
to value
plan,
it.
possibly, then we're looking at square footage versus, I mean, this.
a house is still a house, whether it's being lived in or not. And, you know.
Well, yeah, but a medical clinic is not a medical clinic if it's, doesn't have any future.
No, I see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But
We're between a rock and a hard spot here.
when we came down on the values because of that, it
Yeah.
came down to be $80.68 a square foot. You can't build anything for $80.68 a square foot. I mean,
It appears to me you've done all you can do. The law is the cotton picking law, whether you like it or not,
Mhm.
and you're back into a hard spot. I mean, I understand everybody's opinion here, but
yeah,
we can't break the law,
right.
and we can't change the law, legislature can. All we can do is follow it.
Which
Whether
is
we
what
like
we're
it,
doing.
which is whether we like it or not, and in my opinion, if they have done that, lowered it as much as they can within the law, and I agree, Chris, this is dumb. I mean, they're not able to, but you tell
Well,
me.
if you take the sign down, and
that doesn't change the square footage, though, that doesn't change.
That
We're
doesn't
not talking about, if you take the sign down and revamp the inside, which this is unusable, period. You can't use this for medical clinic. If you take the inside, I'm assuming you can strip it and open up the floor space.
For what? That doesn't make it, that's,
No, wait a minute. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, I could tear the whole building down.
No, I'm talking about just the interior and make it for instance, an apartment.
that doesn't matter, because what you do is what it is right now, not what it could be or
Well,
what you
explain.
might do.
I understand what you're saying.
But there's no way that you can change that.
Can I say something? The buildings were built in 1914 and 1915. They were originally a case dealership and a hardware store. The buildings, the frame of the buildings are still the same. They have never, the walls are still there. The roof is still there. The same roof, the same walls, everything are the same. We put a new roof on top of it, which makes it even less valuable because as far as if they have a fire in there, you got two roofs to fight a fire in. But the building, I bought these two buildings, my wife and I did. We gave $4,200 for one of them, and we gave $16,000 for the other one. We bought one of them from Corey Seaman, used to be Max Bixler's, and the other one from Richard and Susan Bradford.
Okay, I'm one, that doesn't affect this, whether we like it or not, we have to accept what the law says. And I don't like it, but you can't, Chris, I don't see where you're going with it.
Well, the question is, what's it been used for the last 5 years?
It's sitting there, nothing, there's no, I mean, all of the stuff, I'm paying taxes. We closed the medical clinic. The medical clinic, my wife had a corporation called the medical clinic. She owned the corporation. She didn't own, the medical clinic didn't own this building. Susie and I owned the building. We rented it to her corporation, the medical clinic. Everything that was inside the medical clinic that was used for the medical reason, anything she used in medical, her exam tables and all of that,
So,
were owned by the medical clinic. I purchased those after we closed the corporation down. I purchased them, and I'm paying personal taxes on all that stuff. All the exam stuff, they'll tell you that they're being taxed, and I'm paying the tax on it. Not the medical clinic, because the medical clinic is no longer a corporation. And the medical clinic never owned this building. It was a rental property owned by Susie and I, and we rented it to that corporation. It wasn't built by the medical clinic for a medical clinic.
Okay, so the actual ownership was never medical?
The medical clinic was never owned the building. Susie and I personally owned it. We rented it to her corporation.
But we're talking about the use of the building, until that gets,
Yeah.
until it's changed
And it's,
to the point where they can't classify it as
That's
a
right.
medical facility.
and
I
it's a
don't see where-
beautiful
I
building.
think we've done all we
Well,
can
They-
do.
that's-
you know,
You've got nothing to do,
Yeah,
it's,
I mean,
it's the use,
and when,
until it's brought down to,
So in
Right,
other
so
words,
yeah,
change.
right.
in other words, if I move into it and make it my residence, it's no longer a medical clinic. So then it would be able to go down.
that's not my call,
It's
that's.
not right, man.
Well, I mean, I'm asking,
We,
can I, and they suggested that I,
The
if
way
we
I
moved
understand
into it
it.
for a house, I can do that. I can move into it, and I can make it my house, residence. Would it go down because it's no longer a medical clinic?
We would have to reclassify it and see what happens.
the same class that we attended in Woodward on real estate,
Mhm.
yeah, when you have a change of purpose, whether it was farmland or forest ground, there is a change in value, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Well, he
Is
would
that
have to
not
do
the
that.
case here? There's been a change in value. The building is nothing but a building. If They owned it to start with, it was not a medical facility.
But we have
They
to look
rented
at
it.
what
They
that
can't do
building was
that.
originally built to be, what it has been built to be for. When we go in and we do a building, we have to look at the attributes of that building. What is it built to be used for? And when it was remodeled to be a medical clinic. There
Yeah,
are
but that
sinks
was
in
the
every
owner
exam
of
room.
them.
The owner doesn't make any difference. It's
Well,
what
I
is the
disagree
building.
with
I
that.
don't agree with
The
that.
building.
No, I don't agree with you, Chris, and I move we deny his sale deal.
We're not making a decision on this, Joe.
Why? Hey, wait a minute.
Now,
It's just a
just wait.
three-man board.
We have had this before. We do not make a decision when we have evidence. We need to verify that. Now, we've done this mistake before. We're not doing it again,
I
Joe.
don't agree. I think we have all the evidence we need here.
No, you don't. You haven't verified it.
What?
You
What
haven't.
she did?
They just gave their position. You haven't verified anything.
Well, when it was remodeled, everything was done to bring it up to code to be a medical clinic,
Yes.
right?
Well,
We've got a lead line,
Lead line,
X-ray
gas,
room.
yeah.
X-ray room. You've
So,
got a generator to support it. You can see the extensive electrical panels on the side of the building.
Well, let me ask the
question is
question.
ownership.
It's-
How,
it's
how?
No,
not-
it's
I
not
The
thought-
question is,
ownership.
what is the
the
building?
use of the building.
It's a use
I
of the
thought,
building.
I thought that they were not able to go in when they do assess taxes. They were not able to go into your facility.
We do not go in. But we
Then
know,
where are you getting these pictures?
you gave that to me. The
I didn't give you
pictures-
those pictures.
Those pictures are of the outside.
You don't have any pictures of the inside.
No.
I can pull them off of Facebook.
Okay, then the outside of that building is actually smaller now than it was when we purchased it. Is that not true?
But you've gone in and redone it all. And when
I
the
redid
remodel-
my building office too, but you didn't raise my taxes.
We were not aware that you redid your office.
Every building in Winoka that somebody bought has had remodeling done to it.
I mean, in fact, you told us in the informal that you hadn't really done anything to your office, that the
I
sliding
said I
glass
didn't.
doors and stuff were still
What I
there
told
from
you
the
was
reception
that-
area and.
What I
that
told you was
basically the
that
same.
when we originally bought my building, since Susie was in medical school in Kansas City, and that we bought that building because knowing it had been a clinic, we bought it from Troy Gosney and his wife when they moved, thinking that that's where she would make her medical clinic. That's what I told you. Am I not telling you the truth? I am. And then we decided later that it was gonna cost too much to remodel it, to the extent to make a clinic, because they had changed some of the regulations on the widths and stuff, since that had been a clinic. So we got a chance to buy the building next door, which we bought. And then it was like 4 or 5 years later before we were able to buy the other building to do. And
I don't, I made a motion, we did.
Joe, I'm not gonna acknowledge your motion.
You don't have no
We have-
choice, Chris.
We have
You have no
made,
choice.
we have made
Robert
mistakes.
Rule of Order makes you have to do it. Got a second. You have no choice.
Now, Joe, we've made this mistake
Now we're
before.
making a mistake here.
We don't have the evidence. We've got
What
the
evidence do you
testimony.
want?
I wanna see the actual law. I wanna see the fact
I
that
don't
if
need
this
that.
is,
The
I-
statute.
if this is owned.
You have a motion and a second.
Did you second that, Levi?
Chris,
I wouldn't do it.
the statute is right here.
Now, that's for use. We're talking about ownership of this thing.
No,
The
they're
ownership
not
doesn't matter.
questioning anything about the
Yes.
ownership.
If he sells it to somebody else,
I
it's
think
still gonna
that's
be
a
the
question
same.
that needs to be answered by legal. If you've got a building and you own it and you lease it out to somebody for one purpose, and they quit, and then you lease it out to another person, it's the owner of the building that's responsible, not what it was
Right.
used for.
It's
Because
still,
the use is gone.
no, the use stays until the building is changed to where it is not.
It's, what is it now, storage?
Nothing. It's sitting there, it's got a bed in it, which when my daughter lives out in the country, when it snows, her and the kids can stay there in the winter to go to school.
Okay, so
That's it.
Chris, you think that we need to have the district attorney look at the law, make sure they're doing it right?
We need to know whether it's the ownership of the building or whether it's the use of the building. Whether that question is answered.
That ownership has nothing to do with, absolutely nothing.
They're the ones that are being taxed. If you're gonna tax somebody,
Off of what the building is
It's his own.
set up to do.
That's what the.
And
that's changed.
Not to run any of your personal business affairs, but until you make some material changes to this building.
Yeah.
See where the law, and I don't
So
necessarily
in other words,
like it.
I don't like it, but the law's the law.
We have to go by the statutes that govern our office and what we are allowed to do when we value these properties. If we don't do that, we are breaking the law, and we are not going to do that.
now, as we attended that class, when you changed the use of
And
something,
the change,
which they have changed the use, right?
well, it's not being used as a medical clinic, I can tell you that.
It's
there's
still,
a difference
it's being
between
used as
taking
an empty
pasture
building.
that is used for crop and turning it just back to native pasture versus a building that is still set up to be used as a medical clinic, but currently just does not have a renter or anybody in it.
All right.
There's a difference in that. When you change pasture from crop to pasture, you've made the change. The change has happened. This building's changed, the use has not changed. It's still set,
let me
it is,
say
it is still set up to
It
be
has
used.
changed, but-
It's still set up to be used as a
no,
medical clinic.
that's,
So what you're
that's
saying is,
obsolete.
The layout is still for a medical clinic. There's still an x-ray machine in
And that's
the
the
x-ray room.
If the doctor
question
wanted
is,
to
what do
come,
you need to do to
Okay.
bring it below the
So-
threshold of a medical clinic?
I understand now what I have to do from what you're saying. I have to call up Airbnb and list it as a vacation rental. And then it's just like any other rented building in town that's used for rentals. So it's no longer a medical clinic, it's no longer a facility, it's strictly
That's
used.
why I wanna go to the legal people. That's why we should not address this without knowledge of,
I disagree with that.
well, you can disagree, Joe.
Well, I mean, I have a motion on the floor. We can vote it down or vote it for, I don't, whatever. The problem is how the statute's written, not how we feel it ought to be done. And we are backed in a corner here that we can't do anything about. If he rents, I don't know what would happen if he lives with Airbnb, it might be an out, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
That's their problem.
from what I'm saying and seeing here, and I'm just sitting on the outside of this deal a little bit, that's, I think what Chris was trying to say, from what I'm hearing, maybe they ought to check into it.
I don't think
Because
they
if I
can,
do
because
that-
right now it's sitting, we have the floor plan of what they've done, and we have to take what it is now, today, or actually what it was January the 1st, right?
if a doctor wanted to come to Winoka, is the building fit to where they could come in and have a practice there?
No. And I'm gonna say no, because all of that equipment has been removed. The only thing that's still there, and I told both of you, is the x-ray machine.
But
And the
if
reason the
the
x-ray
exam
machine's
rooms are
still
still
there.
set up, if all he has to do is put in
That's right.
an
We're
exam
talking
table.
about
Oh,
ownership of
that's-
the building,
no,
they're the
we're not,
ones
no.
that's being
If the
taxed.
doctor wanted to come to his practice in that
ownership has
building,
nothing
it
to
would
do
be
with it.
very
Yes,
easy
it
for him
does.
to
No,
get into
No,
it.
it doesn't.
It would
They're
be
the
easier
ones
for
that are
you
being
to
taxed,
move
the
my
ownership
office.
is being taxed, it's
Same
not
way.
the medical clinic,
Based
they
off
don't
of what the
exist.
building is set up to do,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
be used for. You change that, then it's gonna change
Yeah, you,
the whole conversation here.
here, but we're looking at the taxpayer, not the medical clinic name. We're looking at the taxpayer.
The
And the
name doesn't
taxpayer,
It doesn't matter who would own it.
If Joe buys it, it's still gonna be classified as a medical clinic. That's what it was set
then
up
you,
to be used for.
then would you not charge the medical clinic the taxes if that's the case? No,
Whoever
you
owns
can't. They
it.
don't exist anymore.
Whoever owns it.
It doesn't.
No, that's the real estate.
No.
That
This
is the real
is the
estate.
real estate.
That's
This
what
is
we're
the real
talking
estate.
about.
We're talking about real
The
estate.
real estate person
Bricks.
does not own the, whatever this is called, the medical
Okay.
clinic.
For what it's worth, I call
They
for the
don't, they
question.
don't own that.
Now, you can delay it if you want to, but you can table it or whatever, but I'm telling you, there's, we're back in the corner, we have no choice. And ownership has nothing to do with what's there.
I'm raising a question. Is it the ownership of the building that's being taxed, or is it the medical clinic that's being taxed?
Ownership of the
They
building.
were strictly a tenant, right? I mean,
They were rented. They rented it,
The
right?
building,
It's the building.
Yes.
the building.
The building is
Okay,
what's being.
the building is not used, there's a change in use, just like farmland.
No,
There
there's
is a
not a
change
change
in
in
use.
There's
here.
not been a change in
There's
it.
not a change in use, Chris.
Yes, there is. It's
Yes,
not
there
being
is.
used as a medical.
That doesn't count.
Now, that's your
What
opinion.
what it can be used for. That's the,
Yeah.
The statute says the
Does
highest
that
and
mean
best
that- let me-
use for which the property was last classified for use, if not actually currently used, if not used. The last use that it was used for was a medical clinic. Unless something is done to make it not a medical clinic,
The medical
We
clinic
are-
people bailed out.
that has,
and that has nothing to do with what the,
yeah. A restaurant would still be a restaurant if the people moved out of it. Vanilla Bean's a perfect example. It's a restaurant. There's nobody using it right now. It's still a restaurant. It has to be a restaurant until those attributes are taken out of it to make it not a restaurant. It's the same way with this. Our hands are tied to state statute. We can't break the law.
Well, I think you're making a distinction between the renter and
It
the purpose.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter who's renting it or who owns it. What matters is what is the building and what was it designed for.
No, what it's used for. What it's used for.
Go back to a restaurant is still a restaurant, whether it's currently open or not. A medical clinic is still a medical clinic, whether it's open or not.
So in other words, my building is still a medical.
It is
clinic.
still a medical
And
clinic.
why is it not taxed as a medical?
Because your building,
Yes.
in our computer system, it is. It is entered as a medical clinic.
It just hasn't had a
just hasn't
remodel
gotten
that was.
open.
Yes, it has.
Not-
You got
not-
pictures of the front of it.
Not a $225,343 remodel. That's what it went on for the remodel in 2013. That's the additional.
Then why didn't they raise my taxes on my
Evidently,
building?
at that time, the people in charge then were not aware that your office had been done also.
Well, all they have to do is look at that picture and they can see it.
And that's just the front.
The
We're
right.
talking about the insides
The whole
of the
thing.
building. The plumbing, the electrical, all of the stuff that had to be done to bring it up to code, to make it a current medical clinic. You
And
yourself
I
said
have
that
done
you're.
that to my building too, because I've redone the plumbing and I've redone the electrical.
And there's a big generator, I don't know if there's a picture of it or not, there's a huge generator out back. I mean,
It
all of
runs
that, all
Both
of that,
buildings. It runs both buildings,
okay.
because both buildings are
Right.
on the same electrical
Okay.
meter, the same water meter, the same gas meter. It's,
But-
they're not separate.
If that generator was sitting over on the parcel that your other building is,
Mhm.
it would be taxed on that parcel. It sits on this parcel, so that's the reason it is added to this parcel. When we get audited, which we spent yesterday out being audited on everything, they look at the parcels and they go in and look to see everything that's sitting there and do the measurements and
But I would ask what are you taxing the generator? What value are you giving for the generator for taxes? Because I know what we paid for it.
Let's see, I don't know if we have.
Joe's motion still,
Yes,
I'll second.
okay.
I call for
Do I hear a
question.
Anybody calling for a question, or do we want,
I call a question.
okay, question's been called for, we ready to vote?
Yeah.
You ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Levi?
I vote. We're going to deny the appeal.
Yep.
Retain the cash value.
Or reject it.
Joe?
Aye.
I vote no, I don't think we're ready for it.
Motion carried.
Motion carried.
Yeah, they gave you an out. You understand?
Yeah.
They gave you an
Tomorrow,
out.
I'm gonna do it.
There's a, that's,
So then I have to tell you tomorrow that it's no longer medical clinic.
but it doesn't, you just have to have it done by January the 1, because it's January 1 when they do everything, right? When it's being used at, or whatever, on January 1st.
If he goes in and takes everything out,
Now, wait a minute. What's everything out?
well, what are you gonna do? I mean, it
I'm
depends on
gonna,
what
I'm
you do.
gonna rent it out as a, our Airbnb. People come in and stay. There's rooms.
Yeah.
Each one of them
We've got
stay there.
commercial classified codes that we can do at that time and see what the value is at that time.
Yeah, well,
But it'll still be a commercial building. It'll still,
unless I move into it. Then it becomes a residential, correct?
You would have to live there permanently, like.
I can do that,
Okay.
you know. I own other houses,
Right.
so, I mean, I can move into it. The only thing I have to do is change my
It's all need to sign.
status on my house to that one, right? It would no longer be a homestead exemption at my house. I would have a homestead exemption at that one. Okay, so that's probably what I'm gonna do then. We'll go from there.
I understand, we don't like what we do, but we have to go by the statute, whether we like it or not.
Joe, what I don't understand about this, the building is still, was built in 1914.
I know, I mean, I'm sorry, we've listened to all that, and all we're doing is going back and forth, and it's, for right now, it's over.
I understand.
Now, Joe, I'm gonna make this very clear to you. When we have a protest and we have evidence, we are required to examine the evidence to see whether it's true. There's a question that was raised here.
No,
Yes, there was.
these,
And
we
you refused,
we said no.
I know. You refused to table this till we examined the authenticity
Thank you.
of the testimony,
No.
by them or by him. You refused that. Now, that's not doing your job.
I disagree with you. But that's just,
Well, undoubtedly, you may, but OSU doesn't agree with you. They said table these things. When you have a question,
Hi,
verify.
is this Wyatt? Hi, it's Shelley. So sorry it's later than I thought, but I'm going to put you on speaker just a minute. Okay, the board is signing their affidavits as we speak, and Renette is here, and Cindy with the assessor's office, they're signing theirs. This district attorney, assistant district attorney, Brian Mitchell is with us. Levi London is a board member. Chris Olson is a board member. Joe Shirley, board member. The sheriff's here, Randy McCullough. Rachel Spellman Hughes is here, she's our treasurer. And we have Marion Martin with the Alma Review-Courier.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. This is
Okay.
Ryan Swinford on behalf of Redline Energy.
Okay. Tell us what your situation is here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this issue has been on the board docket, the last several years. We have a couple of pending court cases right now relating to imposition of ad valorem tax, versus gross production tax. Specifically here, it's on a flow line associated with the Julian 2-1 well. The court has issued a decision in the district court, and it is now on appeal to the Oklahoma appellate courts. Most likely, the Oklahoma Court of Civil Appeals will take that case. So that's pending right now. This is just an additional year. I don't believe there's been any factual change since the prior time. An issue really, it's a 3,100-foot flow line that goes from the Julian 2-1 over to 1O's sales meter. It's all on 640-acre spacing unit, and the flow line's owned by Redline, who's the producer. It's primarily 3 inches, but there's some portions that are 2 inch, and then I think maybe underground there's a little bit of 4 inch right where it connects to the 1 Oak meter setting. So that's the property at issue under Title 68, Section 1001. The equipment necessary for production is subject to gross production tax in lieu or instead of ad valorem tax, and so that's the legal issue, and that's currently pending in the courts, as I said, for the prior tax years. I think the only thing that's different, and Renetta and I had a good discussion about this, while we're waiting on the court decision, the legislature did pass a bill, Senate Bill 227, amending Title 68, Section 1001.1, which enumerates some of the items that are included in gross production in lieu of ad valorem. They specifically added flow lines between the wellhead and the sales meter or the first purchaser meter, or the unit boundary, whichever distance is shorter. Here, this would be the shorter distance would be to the sales meter. So, because it's still within the unit. But, anyways, that bill passed the legislature this spring. Redline's position would be, and I think we'll see this in the court cases, but that is clarifying language to the already existing status of the law. That's what the discussion was on the House floor by the bill sponsors. And so that would be our view, is that legislation is clarifying and could be applied effective immediately, even though the statute doesn't go into effect until November. But we do believe that's how the courts would view that. Renee and I have discussed that. I know that she has a different opinion of that, and that's totally fine. And I think there's some indication that there may be some regulations issued by the Oklahoma Tax Commission, or some other guidance on this, but not aware of anything as of yet, and it's too soon. So those are the primary issues. Again, there is an appeal pending before the Oklahoma appellate courts, and then new legislation has passed. But Redline would ask here that the board recognize the passage of Senate Bill 227 and hold that this flow line is subject to gross production tax and not also ad valorem tax.
I think the last time we had you on was last year. We questioned you as to what the ownership was in your well. Do you have a non-operated ownership, or do you own 100% of it?
For specifically for the Julian 2-1, I don't have that information. I believe they own virtually all of it, all the working interest.
Okay.
Does that have anything to do with ownership?
You're what?
Does the ownership have anything to do with the line and heavy taxes?
Yeah, if it's the company owns everything, then it's not a distinction between the non-operator and the operator as to who pays the gross production tax there.
What does that have to do with that line going across there?
Well, originally it was the tank battery on location, had a meter at one time.
I don't know, I'm just curious, I'm trying to understand.
I think this, whether it's a flow line or whether it's a actual expense of the operator, and not assigned to the non-operator.
Does that have anything to do?
Gross production tax doesn't help here.
Well, I mean, what I mean is, the tax station on that mile of line has nothing to do with ownership of who's in the well. It just has to do with.
When you're talking about gross production tax, yeah, it does. I mean, if they're trying to put this under gross production tax, and it's not assigned to all of the ownership, then there's a variance there.
Mr. Legal Guy.
Yes,
I got another legal guy.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? here?
sorry.
Well, as to the issue about gross production tax, it sounds like I respectfully note that my colleague is discussing a Senate bill that isn't law yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I
please
thought.
be aware of that, and statutes, as he correctly stated, generally take effect in November. And even then, it may not be retroactive, it may not be an ex post facto statute, so
Yeah, I
just
don't
be
think,
aware of that.
I don't think we can make a decision based on what might be in November. I think we make the decision on what, I think we make the same decision we made last year, only one in court.
Yeah, I think Jerry testified that it was, there was liquid production on location, there was a meter on that to begin with, and then when these people bought it, they changed.
And,
They wanted to put it under gross production tax.
and this was just in the courts here
Yeah.
a few months ago, and
We won.
yes,
I think we need to do what we've been
but
doing.
they are appealing it, so it's going
Yeah.
on, and this is just the same as what it's been the last 4 years.
Nothing has
Nothing's
changed.
changed, nothing's changed.
I move we deny their appeal.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
I mean, and just be aware that next year, because
Yeah.
of the new
Yeah.
It could be
bill,
totally different.
all of this is probably gonna disappear, so.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, but for
yeah.
right
But
now,
for right now,
like the last thing, we're backed into a corner of
Right.
what the,
right,
Yeah.
that's kinda how we feel, yeah.
So if nothing has changed, we're the same place we have been for the last several
4
years.
years, since 2022.
We got a motion and a second. You guys ready to vote?
Yep.
Yes.
We're upholding the assessor's
Right.
position.
yes,
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. So,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The only thing I would add to the record, since I didn't get to respond, a couple of things. Jerry didn't testify to anything on this. He's got no personal knowledge of it. So just want that clear in the record in case there's some factual question here. We'll reserve that for cross if we were to ever need it. And then as to the ownership issue, I agree with one of the board members that it's immaterial here. There's no exempt ownership interest here that wouldn't have paid tax, and even if there were, at best it'd be some proration argument. So not an issue here. Redline owns it, and the well is paying gross production on the full value of the gas produced. So anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Jerry did testify on this.
Like when we had our formal,
Yeah.
yes, he was here, yeah.
He did testify.
And he might have been meaning in the
Today.
court, when we were in court a few months
Oh,
ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll need an explanation too, and then I need signatures.
Direct explanation.
He can do that right there. He knows more than that oil and gas thing than I'll ever know.
Well, what the difference is, when they did the saltwater disposal lines,
Yeah,
that was a big mistake.
yeah.
The attorneys did not
I
represent that
understand
case
that, but
right.
that's not what this is.
No, but the same appeal would be ownership of the spacing area. And when you're trying to put the gross production tax on this rather than the mineral ownership, you gotta change. So that's major. And these, what's their, $237?
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, they're doing
it's
this
the
for,
principle that they,
yeah,
No, they're getting
Yeah.
this done so that bigger companies could
Yeah,
probably jump on that same bandwagon.
yeah.
That's just my opinion, so.
I would, you could read my writing if I didn't feel that.
You got any other, hearings coming up?
Not that I know of yet. There might be one, or there might be two. A bit, yeah. I don't have any paperwork on anything yet.
No, they're the same reasons as last year. That'll work.
Maybe if they're looking to see what was said.
What?
Yeah.
I'll look and see.
No, just put no new evidence.
Yeah, there you go. Good, good.
All right.
Any new business?
Move we adjourn.
Second motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.